Hello everyone, this is Josh from Risco's Ranches, and as you guys can tell, it is still super cold here. And because of that, quite frankly, I don't want to be outside wrenching on stuff in the 0 to -10 degree weather. It's just, quite frankly, not fun at all. But I still do need to upload something this week because YouTube, well, it loves consistency. So what we're going to do is do a basically memory video. I'm going to compile all the videos from our 1964 Chevy Chevelle, from the first time we saw it, rescuing it out of a junkyard where it was going to get cubed, to getting it running, to making it sort of okay-ish, cleaning it out, and then selling it and buying my old Firebird. And that Firebird's back in that backyard because, number one, it's rusty. I don't want to have any of this like ice cold air hitting me as I drive as it comes up through the lack of floor. I also don't want to drive it on the horrible roads because it does not have ABS. It does not have any rear brakes either. And, well, I just quite frankly don't trust it in this weather. But in the meantime, to bring you guys something, here is a however long video, I'm guessing like an hour and a half-ish video of our whole journey from start to finish on our 1964 Chevy Chevelle. Do not worry, next week's programming will be something. I don't know if I'm going to be in the shop working on a small engine or something, but I am going to bring you guys something new. But for this week, I'm going to take a little bit of a time off. I'm going to enjoy the nice warm weather inside of my house and not the -10 degrees out here. So forgive me, but this week's video is going to be a little bit of a re-upload. Hope you guys enjoy. This is Josh from Risco's Ranches. I apologize for the late video. You guys can tell it's late, but over there we've got my truck with something cool on the trailer. You guys will see that later in the video and probably in the thumbnail because I'm not really good at keeping secrets. But I had planned to do a really cool intro for this video. I had planned to pick up a 1966 Chrysler Rambler, but unfortunately, it went kind of south. You guys will see in the video. I planned to do a little intro, showing I was going to talk to the guys. They were cool with being recorded, everything like that. So I was going to have them, talk a little bit, do an intro off that, show you guys me driving the whole way over there, all that stuff. I had a whole video planned out in my head. I had it all written down, everything like that. And then immediately it got a wrench thrown in the plan, and I ended up not getting that car. But I ended up getting something else pretty cool. But I started this day off by looking to trade my 2006 Scion XP for a 1966 Chrysler Rambler that was about an hour and a half drive away from me. So we're going to get into it now. I will show you guys me picking up in the car in the morning, ready to drive that thing the whole way over there and start the trade. Hope you guys like it. Peace out. Well, we're in the car. I got all the camera set up and everything to record. We're going to get on our way here in just a second. I got some breakfast over there. I'm going to grab a few bites out before we leave. But let's get into it. Up here is a really old junkyard we're going to hit on the way back. I had an old Ford Turbo Coupe I pulled out of this place a long, long time ago. It's... Oh yeah, you ready? Right there. It's called Allstate Auto Salvage. The guys there are really, really cool. We're going to hit that up on the way back. You guys saw the intro there. In this video, we're going to be trading this Scion for a really, really cool old project car. Now, what you saw there was a 1966 Chrysler Rambler. It has been in a garage for about 47 years. The guy I'm buying it from bought it straight out of that garage, made sure it turned over, was going to get it running, kind of got it to cough a little bit, and then he realized, you know what, I'm not really going to get around to this thing. I'd rather just have a little daily driver that I can just get in, do little things through that needs it, just use it as a daily car. I'm never going to get around to this Rambler. So I messaged him saying, hey, I've got this thing. Would you be interested in trading? It's got a clean and clear title. It does need a battery, but it does run and drive great. I've driven this thing 3-4 hours one way to pick up parts, drove it back, no issues. I love this thing to death, but I don't really use it much anymore because I work in town. I used to use this thing when I was working outside of town because it got such good gas mileage, but ever since I started working in town, I'm like less than a mile away from my work. I hardly ever use this thing. I just keep using the pickup whenever I need it. Let's get into the little montage of us driving the whole way up here, and then we'll get into talking to the owner and everything he knows about it. See you guys in a minute. Not too shabby. It really does need floorboards bad, but the frame and everything looks great. Well, nothing really goes to plan. We loaded that car up. I looked again at the title, figured out that it didn't have a clean title, and they straight up lied to me. Now, that does suck, but on the way home, that junkyard that I told you guys about had this beautiful thing. Now, this is a 1966, 1967 Chevy Malibu Chevelle. This thing is extremely, extremely clean. It doesn't look like it. This thing's been off the road, up on blocks in a backyard for about 37 years. Now, this thing does look a little bit rough, but this rust really ain't that bad. The frame is in great shape. There's no big holes anywhere. Leaf hangers are good. And actually, this thing does have, if you guys look up under there, it's got aftermarket springs on it. So this thing at one point was a cool little car, but we're gonna get home here before it gets too dark. I do not have lights on this trailer, so I need to get the hell home before it gets dark because it's about 4 o'clock and the sun's already going down. We need to get out of here and on the road. Looking back, I realize now that I did not really do a good job of explaining kind of what was happening. I did put a camera on my back window to record us loading this old school 1964 Chevy Impala onto the truck, but it immediately died. I will play the 13 seconds of glorious footage I have here. But this thing was on the chopping block to get crushed this Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. He was going to crush it someday early in the week. He said, hey, I've got a coworker whose wife needs a little get-around car. I've got this old school 64 Impala. I bought it, and I would hate to crush it, but I did just buy it for scrap. But it does have a clean and clear title signed from the previous owner. All the glass is intact. In the pictures you guys saw, I had the driver's side window rolled down, but I just did that to steer the wheel. All the glass on it has no cracks. Like I said, the frame is mint. There is surface rust, but there are no holes. It's got a straight 6 in it that has 50,000 original miles on it. I was told the owner that I that I am, going to title it from them into my name. Bought it in 84, 85 sometime. Drove it for a little bit, and in 90 or 91, it started to smoke real bad. They put it up on blocks behind the barn, and it got completely forgotten about until about 6 months ago when the junkyard owner picked it up, was going to do something with it, but didn't have the time. Nobody really wanted to buy it. People were looking at it, but never really ever anybody seriously, and nobody wanted it. He's like, I'm just going to crush it. I don't have room. I'd love to save it, but I don't have room. Go out there and look at it. See if it's something you want. So went out there, looked at it, made sure the VINs match on the title. It matched. Crawled up under there. The frame, I cannot tell you guys enough. This frame is immaculate on this car. I mean, literally, I'm just going to roll over it with stop rust. That'll just stop the surface rust and undercoat. That's going to be it. It's not going to need to get frame off restoration where I have to put patch panels in the frame. The A-arms are great. Even the quarter panels, the wheel wells on them do have a little bit of rust around the lip that I showed, but I can actually smooth that out. I don't even really need new quarter panels. I will probably get some just to do it right, or at least wheel lips. But honestly, I could save that with Bondo super easily. This thing is really clean. And like I said, it does only have 50,000 original miles. I'm going to catch back up here with me talking a little bit about it. There is another car in the yard that I'm going to talk about here that I'm going to be using for parts that I'm going to buy in about a month or two. I need to get a little bit of money saved up because it's a little bit more valuable of a car than I picked up. Or it's not really quote-unquote more valuable, but it is worth a little bit of money that I didn't have on me right now, and I didn't want to make 2 trips. Again, my trailer lights didn't work. It was getting late. I was just done. I had pulled the Scion up into that trailer, left in the morning, pulled the Scion off the trailer, pulled that Rambler on the trailer, realized that the title was junk, pulled the Rambler back off the trailer, put the Scion back on the trailer, pulled the Scion back off the trailer at the junkyard, pulled the Impala up on the trailer. It was just a whole ordeal. I was done. I was ready to be home. But I will tell you guys what that other car is that I'm going to be picking up for parts in a second here. Let me talk a little bit to you guys here. But he said, hey, I'm going to scrap the, I'm just buying it, just to switch out the scrap. Instead of scrapping that car, I'll be scrapping this car. But be honest with me here, is it a good car? And I said, look, honestly, it needs a battery, but I literally just put brakes on the thing. I've been driving it for 2 or 3 years. It was a great little car. And he said, all right, I'm probably going to save it then because I've got a coworker whose daughter really needs a car. Her main car blew up. It's junk. It's completely done. She keeps throwing money into it. It's junk. I said that would be a great car for her. It gets like 35 miles a gallon. You throw a battery on it, maybe do a little things here and there. Like, it's got an exhaust leak. It's got O2 sensors that are bad on it. But I said the thing always start up, ran and drove for me really reliably. It cruises great at 65, 70 miles, 65, 70 on the interstate. I love that thing to death. I haven't been using it, and I wanted a project that I'm actually going to do things with, and this was it. So we're going to head back now. I might stop really quickly to get food, but like I said, I'm going to try to cannonball back basically as quickly as I can because I do not have lights and I don't want to get pulled over. It would not be a good end to my day right now. Oh my goodness, my truck is throwing off mud. This thing was literally up on an incline covered in snow. We had to get a skid loader to get it out. The skid loader was slipping trying to pick this thing up. All the brakes are locked up on it, but the frame is really great. It's got a clean and clear title that's completely signed off, ready for me to put it into my name. It does have a motor and a transmission in it, and also in that junkyard, I'll throw up a couple pictures here. He has a 1978 or 1970 Camaro IROC. That's a factory 350 4-speed car. It has disc brakes in the front, which I'm going to put on this thing. That thing was a great car until the owner that had it, it was a graduation gift given to him by his parents, and he kept getting DUIs, he kept getting street racing tickets, everything like that. And they said, look, you're not going to do this. You either stop it or we're going to get rid of the car. And he didn't stop, so they literally took it out back, used the skid loader, and crushed the damn thing just to prove to a point that, hey, dude, you need to quit doing this. You're going to kill yourself or somebody else. And the guy wouldn't let it get through his head, so the car got crushed, and it's been sitting ever since. But he did say for about $650, he'd sell it to me. It would have the 4-speed, the 350, the rear end I need for this thing. It's all going to be great for this thing. I'm going to wait a couple months, pick it up. And he said, that's fine. I'm not really in a rush to get rid of it. I've had it for like 10 years now. People keep making offers on it, but they never come and pick it up. So I know you. I've dealt with him in the past. I bought a couple old cars from him, like I said earlier. Me and him immediately hit it off when he first met a couple years ago when I bought the old white turbo coupe that I'll throw a couple pictures up here again. Me and him hit it off because whenever I saw it sitting there, he said it had been sitting for about 15 years. And I said, well, I brought a fuel pump. And do you have tires? Because I'm going to try to drive this thing home. And he said, you know what, kid? I like you. That's the type of stuff I did as a kid. So me and him hit it off. We've been pretty good friends. Just went back up in there, talked to him. I figured he'd have something cool to trade for me for that little Scion, and he sure as hell did. So we're going to get home now. Like I said, I might stop for food. If I do, you guys are going to see what I get. If not, we're going to cannonball home, and then we'll pick it up in the morning, and we'll just get down to it. We're getting gas. It's so cold. Look at that pretty girl. This thing's going to look great with a 350 and a 4-speed in it. I might just clear coat over this patina, because this is actual patina. This isn't like shop-made patina. This is real patina. I got that from sitting in a field. Oh, sweet, it's done. Made it home. I am underneath the street light at my dad's place, and here she is. You guys can't really see anything, but I do want to put this video out because I did say I would, even though it went a lot different than what I expected. But this is a 1966 or 1967 Chevelle Malibu. Now, I originally thought, I'm not really a big Chevy guy, so I'm sure I'm wrong a few things here, but it does have the Chevelle badges up here. You guys probably can't see too well, but it does have Chevelle badges right there. And I thought it was Chevelle, Impala, and Malibu were just trim levels, but it says Chevelle up there and Malibu on that back quarter panel. So I don't know. You guys are going to have to tell me in the comments. You Chevy guys, tell me what the hell I'm looking at. What do I look for? Apparently it's got a 230, little 230 straight 6 that's in there. It's got the badges on it. It's not locked up. I did go in there and I can spin it over by hand. So it's not locked up. The owner, move over so you guys can see me a little bit. The guy said that, it was smoking really bad in the 90s and like 91 whenever he parked it. He put it up on blocks in the backyard and just never got around to it. It just sat and sat and sat. So I am super happy. All the glass is intact. I mean, I've got the driver's side window rolled down, but I mean, none of this glass is cracked up. The front window's clean. The back window's clean. This glass is all there. The doors are really nice. There is a little bit of rot right here, but that's nothing bad. I mean, I can probably fix that up with Bondo, honestly, or just get new quarter panels. These things are really, really easy to get. Another thing too, it did have a tree fall on it, but this is old school sheet metal. I can probably put a jack up under here and jack this thing up and make it pretty darn good. Yeah, that's a new project on the channel. This thing's been sitting for about 34 or 35 years if my math is correct. I'm completely worn out. I pulled that Scion off the trailer today, loaded up that other car, realized the title was junk, pulled that one off, loaded the Scion back up, drove down here, pulled the Scion back off of it, loaded this thing up, and then drove the whole way. So I'm kind of worn out, so my brain probably is messing up on math a little bit. But this is the new project car for this channel. I hope you guys like this. Like and subscribe for this journey because I'm going to be fixing this thing up. Like I said, he does have that late 70s Camaro that's in the junkyard with a 350, a 12-bolt rear end, a 4-speed, and all the parts I need to make this thing a really, really cool street monster. So I will be getting that thing. I am going to plan... I do plan on fixing this thing up a little bit before I get that car and getting it ready to, you know, rip all that out and make this thing a good riding and driver. It does need tires really, really bad. These are probably the original tires from the 80s or the 90s. It needs brakes. These brakes are locked up really bad, and it has a single pot master cylinder, which is super, super ancient, and I don't really trust it. It's got drum brakes all around, so I'm probably going to get all that stuff sorted out, probably undercoat it and just give it a good wash, clear coat it, because I do like this patina. Then it'll be ready for that cool engine swap and just have the whole drivetrain all fixed up. This is Josh from Whiskers and Wrenches, and I want to do a quick video here telling you guys more about the 1964 Chevy Impala we picked up last night. Now, I originally didn't even go to pick up this car. I went to pick up a 1966 Rambler that I was going to trade my old Scion XB for. But I got the whole way up there. They told me it had a clean and clear title. Got the whole way up there, looked at the title. It was not clean and clear. But on the way back, I knew a really, really good junkyard that I had bought a fair few cars in the past from. I know the owner really well. I know he's always got something cool in his yard. And this thing was sitting there, literally about to be crushed, about 4 days before I picked it up. And as soon as I started looking at this thing, I knew I couldn't let it get crushed. Now, not only is this a really, really old school Chevelle Malibu with all the glass intact, that window is rolled down just so I can steer it up onto the trailer, but all the glass, there's no cracks in it, all the glass is intact, it's there. The frame is absolutely gorgeous on this car. There are no holes up underneath at all. It has a clean and clear title, and the most rust this thing has is back here on these wheel wells that aren't even that bad. I mean, you can see a little hole right there and a little bubbles right along here. This thing is actually super, super clean, and there is a reason for that. This thing shows 50,000 and some odd miles, and I believe that is actually true. Now, the person the junkyard owner bought this thing from was the second owner. He bought it from the original owner in sometime in the mid-80s, about 84, 85, from what I was told. And he said that the owner told him that it was an original 36,000 mile car. Now, he drove it to where it got to 50,000 miles on it, and apparently it started to smoke really, really bad. This thing started smoking in 91 and it was parked. It has a 230 straight 6 in it. It has some cool things on it, actually. It has some aftermarket coilovers on the back. It has a chrome intake, chrome valve covers, things like that. And it's got, actually, bald tires on both sides on the back end here. Now, it leads me to believe this thing might have actually been a hot rod back in its day. Now, this thing is pretty darn wore out, at least on the inside. It It's not in the most beautiful shape. I mean, the dash is really tore up. The seats are completely from a different car. I don't know what year they're from. You Chevy guys tell me down in the comments. Those look like old school, like 80s Impala seats. The back seats are there, but they're all tore up. It's full of junk. But I mean, this thing, like I said, it is not rusty at all. This roof, I mean, like, look at this A-pillar here. There's no rust coming through. The chrome and everything's in beautiful shape. There's no rust on the top rails. Like I said, these frame rails are beautiful. This bottom bit right here is a little bit of rust, as you can tell right there, but it's all still there. I mean, up under here, the frame rails are in beautiful shape. It's the same way. It did have a tree fall on it. You guys can see a dent right here, and more importantly, a big old dent right here. But it's not rusty. I believe I can put a jack under here and jack it up. But this thing is actually in super good shape, and I could not let this thing get crushed. It would just bum me out way too much. This is going to be a super quick video. It is 0 degrees right now, and with the wind, it says, my phone says it feels like -16, so it's extremely cold out here, and I don't want to be out here any longer than possible. But I do want to give you guys a quick run around of this car, tell you guys what my plans are with it and everything like that. Now, I bought this thing, well, I didn't even really buy it. I traded it for that Scion, but I plan to get this thing running and driving with the straight six that's in it. I was told, again, it smokes really bad, but I do have a plan for it. In the junkyard we got this thing from is a 1978 or 1979 Camaro IROC Z, or not IROC, it's a Z28. I always get those confused. I'm not that big of a Chevy guy, so codes and everything like that and years aren't my big thing. But it's a Z28 car with a 350, a 4-speed. That's an aftermarket 4-speed. It was a factory stick shift car, but it has an aftermarket, better, stronger transmission in it. It has disc brakes on the front. We're going to use that thing, and we're going to pick that thing up, bring it home whenever we get this thing ready for a new engine and transmission. Put the rear end, the transmission, the 350 from that thing into this car and make it a street fighter muscle car. Now, again, this thing does need a lot of work. It's been sitting in the field since '91. Like I said, it has a single pot master cylinder with drum brakes all around. I don't trust any of that. It's been sitting way too long. And besides, I really don't trust single cylinder master cylinders anyways, because if you have a single leak, all your brake fluid disappears and you have no more brakes at all. But we are going to get into this thing in the up and coming weeks. I'm going to try to get my Crown Vic out of the garage so I have a place to roll this thing into, so I'm not freezing my butt off while trying to work on this thing. But you guys will see everything I do to this car here on this channel. Hello everybody, this is Josh from Riskers and Wrenches. I do want to apologize if you hear birds chirping in the background. I have chased those damn Blue Jays, or whatever the hell they are, away 5 or 6 times, recorded this segment 5 or 6 different times as well, and they keep staying around. They keep coming back to the tree right next to me and chirping their damn heads off. But in this video, I'm going to show you guys the cheapest way to drivetrain swap, i.e. the motor, the transmission, the brakes, the rear end, all that stuff of your project. Now, it doesn't matter if it's an old car like the Chevelle here, or a newer car like a 2000s Mustang or something like that. There's an extremely cost-efficient way to drivetrain swap your classics, and it involves buying a whole new car. Now, when I say buying a whole new car, I don't exactly mean a whole new car, maybe what's left of what once was a pretty darn cool car. Now, behind me here is a 1979 Camaro Z28. Well, what's left of it. Now, as you guys can see, which I will show a little bit closer as I talk through here, some overview shots, some underside shots, things like that. This thing is extremely worse for wear at the moment, but that doesn't mean it's all bad. Now, looking at this car here, you guys can clearly tell it's not in the best of shape. The door is kind of Bluetooth. It's really rare lightweight convertible package. It's just completely flat top. It's like those concept cars, you know. This thing's worth a fair bit of money. But seriously, all jokes aside, if you look below the exterior of completely destroyed sheet metal, which I will tell you guys about in a second, this thing is actually great. Now, I will say I paid $650 for this car. Now, before you start lampooning me in the comments, let me show you around it. Now, I know what you're thinking. Looking at this thing is a complete hunk of junk. But if you look below the extremely worn out, beat up exterior, there is a heart of gold under this thing. Up front right here, those are disc brakes, which are not seized up. The master cylinder, everything works. That is a 350 that does spin over. We have tried it. There is a 4-speed that is buried up under there that you guys can't really see because of all the junk that's in here. See right there, there's the handle for it, which does move out of gear. Back here, we have the turbine wheels, everything like that. Now, getting to the back of the car, up under here, there is a 12-bolt in here with, on the tag, right there, it does say limited slip. Now, when I originally found this thing, it was the first time I had ever been to the junkyard. It was called Allstate Auto Salvage in Cameron, Missouri. Now, I forget exactly what we were doing whenever I saw it at the junkyard, but we were over there. I think we were dropping off a relative or a friend or something over there. Bingo night, that's what it was. We were bringing a my friend's grandmother to bingo night, which was over there, just a couple miles away from the junkyard. And I saw this thing's tail end sticking out from the interstate or highway or whatever we were driving down. I thought it might have been a Firebird or something like that. I couldn't, see the roof and anything like that. I just saw the trunk area sticking out. I'm like, I can't tell if that's a Firebird or Camaro, but I am a sucker for Firebirds, and I thought I got to go talk to at least that junkyard owner, see what this thing is, see if there's any way in hell I can bring it home, because I love this generation of Firebird specifically. Sadly, this thing did turn out to be a Camaro, but it wasn't all bad in the end. Now I went down there, I did end up finding a couple cool project cars in there, which I did bring home. I brought home an 88 Thunderbird Turbo Coupe, which I did fix up and sold to another guy. That thing did have a lot of rust, so I ended up buying a 87 Turbo Coupe and using two decent cars to make one good car. Sold that whole off to a different guy who's, as far as I still know, driving those cars. They're pretty darn cool little cars. Little 2.3 turbos were fun cars. But enough about that. Let's talk about this thing. Now, back in 2021 is when I picked up that Turbo Coupe, and I immediately went into that junkyard and I said, hey, I saw, I don't know if it's Firebird or Camaro or something, but it's blue. I saw it from the interstate or highway or whatever I was on. I got to know what's the story on that thing. And the junkyard owner immediately looked at me. I was a younger kid at that time. I was probably 18, 19. He's like, oh, you want a real nice car, do you? Well, why don't you go look at it? It's nice. It's over there. Why don't you go look at it? And needless to say, he wasn't lying when he said it was a nice car. I saw this thing from the front end. I'll post a couple pictures up here. I just took pictures of it because I thought, I'm not even going to go back there and look at it. I mean, there's no point. That thing's just a hunk of scrap metal anyways. I knew it'd be an automatic. I knew it'd be just a basic, maybe even a V6 car. I didn't know, but I didn't see any cool markings on it. I figured that thing's just a hunk of scrap metal. These things, at least in my opinion, I've seen these things everywhere. I'm like, there's no point in even going to look at that car. So I started walking back, and he goes, no, go back there and look at that car. And sure as hell, I did. And when I went back there, I found this thing. Now, this is a 1979 Z28 Camaro, as I said earlier, with the 4-speed. And as soon as I saw that 4-speed, I went, oh my God, this thing is cool. I crawled up under there, saw the 12-bolt, which made it even more cool. And it has disc brakes on the front because, like I said, it was a Z28 car. So I went, oh my God, this thing is the perfect parts car. I just got to find something to put all this greatness into. Now, fast forward a fair few years, I hadn't really found anything. I was dealing a lot more in 80s, 90s cars, which isn't to say that you can't 350 swap those cars, but I've never really found something that was worthy of putting this coolness into it until I found that 64 Chevelle that we got last weekend. Now, that car actually came from the same junkyard, Allstate Auto Salvage up in Camden, Missouri, like I said earlier. And I immediately went to the guy when I was picking that car up. I said, hey, that old Camaro that you got back there that's completely mangled and mushed and everything like that? Oh, she does roll.
They just picked it up and moved over that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
That thing's snapping in half. Do you still have that? And he goes, yeah, I do. And I'm like, well, how much do you want for it? And he goes, let me think about that a little bit, and I'll give you a call back. And sure enough, a couple days later, he gave me a call, $650. And I couldn't say no at that. And it actually lined up perfectly because the next day, somebody messaged me about some tires and wheels I had for sale on Facebook Marketplace for $700. And I'm like, you know what? That's perfect. $50 in gas to go down there, pick it up. $650 to handle the perfect gentleman, and I've got the perfect parts car for my 64 Chevelle. Now, what happened to this car actually is a super big tragedy. This car actually is a one-owner car, if you believe it or not. If you don't count the junkyard, it is a one-owner car. Now, I know most of you guys are probably not going to believe that, but the owner of the junkyard himself has known the car since it was brand new. And I have dealt with him a lot in the past, bought a lot of cars that I flipped, fixed up or sold or parted out or anything like that. He's never lied to me, done me wrong, trying to swindle me out of a thing. And even then, this thing didn't have a title. I'm clearly not buying this thing for the one-owner thing, so there was literally no point of lying to me if it was a one-owner car or not. But back in the 70s and 80s, car guys knew each other. There was no online forums. There was no message boards. There was nothing like that. The internet wasn't really even a thing back then. It sort of was, but it was still in its very infancy. So car guys kind of knew each other by where they lived. If you were, went to your local drag strip, saw a couple people, there's them damn birds again. If you went to your local junkyard, saw a couple people, you said, hey, I live over here. They go, oh, I recognize that car. I know the neighborhood you live in. Come over here and drink beers and work on a car with me. So everything was very word of mouth, and he knew the history of the car since it was brand new. Now, this was actually a graduation present for a car driving buddy of his. Now, for graduation, his parents bought him this brand new in 1979. Factory 350, 4-speed, limited slip, Z28 Camaro. This thing was all beautiful blue. I bet this thing looked absolutely gorgeous when it was brand new. And he loved the crap out of this car. A little bit too much, actually. Now, the story is, in the next 3 or 4 years, all he ever did in this thing was get street racing tickets, getting DUIs, getting excessive speed tickets, everything like that. His parents said, you need to knock that crap off immediately or else we are going to take away the car. Well, fast forward another year or two, and he didn't. He kept getting all that stuff, and his license suspended even because he was drink driving so much. Now we're taking the car away from you. You're not going to kill yourself or anybody because you're stupid and you're drinking and driving. And it got thrown in the backyard where it sat for years and years and years. Now, 5-6 years later, he finally got his license back. He convinced his parents he had changed, and the whole thing started all over again with a different car. It was some sort of Dodge, had a V8, and he did the same exact thing. He got drink driving tickets, he got street racing tickets, yada, yada, yada. So it got tossed in the backyard as well. And that's where this thing sat for the best part of 35, 40 years until 2019, 2020, right around that era. Now, this thing was in the junkyard for about 4.5, 5 years before I picked it up. That's what they remember. Exact dates are a little bit hazy because, as I will show you guys when we do a walkthrough of that junkyard, there is a lot of coolness in that junkyard. Oh, she does roll. We're walking back in here. It didn't take us more than 10 minutes to find this. This is pretty cool. It's an old Detroit diesel. It's got the 8.2 liter on it. Yeah, a little automatic, 4-wheel drive. But yeah, there's the mecca of engines and everything. We'll look at that in a second. We're gonna walk over there in a second, but I want to look at these old school. Oh, he's got a motorcycle back here. Dude, look at that, dude. That one right into my ear. Oh yeah. This is sick.
Got the AMC motor in it.
Got side pipes.
Mm-hmm.
Do a whole video on that. I am going to post a probably right around 2-hour long video of just me and a buddy who came down there to pick this car up with me, just walking through that junkyard and finding all the cool stuff that's in it. But around 2019, 2020, there was a big argument. He came back and he said, I want that car. Those things are worth some money now. I want to fix it up and sell it. And they said, that's cute because that thing is still titled in our name. You never even put that thing in your name. It was never your car to begin with. It has always been our car. Your license is still suspended because you can't stop drinking and driving. We are not giving you that car. And a whole big argument ensued, and it ended with the demise of this car. Now, the parents at this point were tired of shuffling this thing back and forth, moving it from yard to yard, moving it out of the way whenever they mowed, and the argument just kind of set off. The spiral ended up killing this car. Now that argument kept getting worse and worse, so before long they went, you know what? I have a perfect idea for this car so that you can't have it, I can't have it, nobody can have it. They got a backhoe or a tractor, one of those two. I'm a little bit hazy on the story. Went out and legitimately just smashed the crap out of this car. They said, I know you know the junkyard owner that I'm gonna sell this thing to. I'm gonna beat this thing up so that even when it goes to the junkyard, you cannot buy it back from them and kill somebody or yourself on the road while being an idiot. So that's where this thing's story ended. It sat in the junkyard for 4 or 5 years. They said, like I said, sometime in 2019, 2020, the guy called him and said, come pick this piece of crap up, haul it to the junkyard. I do not care anymore. I want it gone. And sadly, that's what happened. This thing really didn't have much life in it. I believe on the odometer, I see 27,852 miles, and I believe that to be accurate. This thing didn't even get 30,000 miles before it was completely crushed. And again, I do believe that because the junkyard owner said this thing legitimately wasn't on the road for more than 5 years. So, and even then he said it might be a little bit of a stretch. It's probably closer to 3 or 4. So I do believe 27,000 miles is legitimately what this car had. It was a one-owner car. It was a really, really nice car, apart from the fact it didn't come with T-tops. I do love T-tops. This thing was a hard top. But this thing was a super, super, super nice car until a little idiot who couldn't stop street racing and drink driving ruined it for everybody. But on the bright side, I got this whole car for 650 bucks, and we're going to use it to make that Malibu of mine a hell of a lot better. Now, I'm going to be doing everything here on this channel, like always, but it's going to be in my driveway. I want to show you guys that you can build any hot rod you reasonably want in your driveway. You don't have to have a big shop like I do. You don't have to have a lift. You don't have to have all these fancy tools. There are some tools you're obviously going to need, like an engine hoist, a torque wrench, jack stands, a jack, all that stuff to do something of this nature. Obviously, you're not going to be able to just will the motor out of this car into that other car. But you don't need a big shop, a big lift, big money, snap-on tools and everything to do a cool little hot rod in your driveway. Now, there are some tools I am going to use that you guys might not have, but are needed for something of this nature. I'm going to try not to push it too far, as I'm not going to use a lift. I'm not going to use any fancy tools, but here and there you might see a welder that I use. You might see some power tools, an impact driver, things like that. There are things that you guys do need in your shop to do something of this nature. This isn't just a, putting a junkyard 350 into a car that came with a junkyard 350. This is a whole drivetrain, rear end, suspension, disc brake swap, everything from this car into that car. So it's going to be decently in depth, but I'm going to try to keep it believable for all you guys at home so that you guys can maybe get a little bit of inspiration to finally get that project of yours up and running and not wait until you have a giant shop with a lift to do it. Now, speaking of this channel, you guys have been awesome. I am at 500 subscribers now. It is super, super cool to see you guys liking the videos, subscribing to them, watching them, all that stuff. We are super close to being monetized. I am only about 1,000 watch hours off of being monetized. I don't know if you guys know this, but on YouTube, you can get monetized. Obviously, I'm sure a lot of guys know that, but the stipulations have changed most recently in the last couple of years. It is post 3 videos in the last month or something like that, or maybe I'll have to look a little bit better, but I'll post a screenshot up of it. It's post 3 videos in a certain amount of time. I believe it's 90 days now that I think of it. Have 500 subscribers and have one of 2, which is a view hour counter for either your normal videos or shorts. We are super close to getting monetized. We have the 500 subscribers. We have the 3 videos posted in the last 90 days. We're about 1,000 watch hours off of being monetized on this channel, and I cannot thank you guys enough for it. Now, before we get out of here, I do want to do a little bit of a plug. I did a lot of junkyard crawling on that episode where we went to pick this thing up with a buddy of mine. He was there. We just kind of spewed off information we knew about cars, engines, everything like that. Did a cool walk around of that junkyard. I will post a little ping right up here at the top of the video on this side, actually, now that I think of it. I do want to say first and foremost about those director's cut videos. I will apologize. There's probably going to be a little bit of a profanity in there. They're going to be a lot longer videos, so if I miss an offhanded joke or a swear word here and there, I don't bleep it, I apologize. But I do try to make most of my main channel content kid-friendly, because that's how I got into cars as a kid, watching old Top Gear, watching Roadkill, things like that. If I didn't have that as a kid, I probably would have never got into this stuff. And growing up, I had some strict parents, so if there was a bunch of curse words and things like that in there, they would have never let me watch it. So I do have a little bit of a soft spot on my channel for younger audience that are looking to get into something cool and old. So a lot of the times with my main channel videos, I do edit it where it's digestible for a younger audience. But on those longer videos, again, I might let a curse word or 2 slip by because they're going to be multiple hours long of a bunch of different off takes and cuts and everything like that. So I apologize if something slips through the cracks. But without further ado, this is Josh from Risker's Wrenches. This is legitimately the cheapest way to do a drivetrain swap on your new car or old car. It's a lot easier on an older car. There's a lot less wires to do, especially if you're doing a whole new motor, whole new transmission, whole new rear end. There's a lot less wiring and things like that to do. But if you want to do a drivetrain swap on your project car, buy something like this. Buy a car that's got cool stuff in it. The motor's cool, the transmission's cool, the rear end's cool, but the rest of it's junk. But when they're all beat up like this, you'll have nobody yelling at you saying, oh, I could have saved that car. That was a 1 of 15. It was worth so much money, blah, 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 blah. Nobody's going to care about it when a car's this mangled. And you can get it, like I said, for dirt cheap. I paid $650 for this car, which is pretty much less than what I would have paid for that rear end, let alone the clutch pedals, let alone the manual transmission, let alone the 350 that's in it, let alone the disc brake part. All that stuff. This is the cheapest way to drivetrain swap your project.
Hello everyone, this is Josh from Risker's Wrenches. I'm going to be recording this intro after I did most of the footage in this video. Now, I did record an intro, but with how windy it's been here, you couldn't hear anything at all. I kind of rearranged kind of where I'm recording and where my microphone is, so I'm hoping this is a little bit less windy and you guys can actually understand me a little bit. But in this video, we're going to be getting our 1964 Chevy Chevelle ready to run. Now, there are a fair few things we're going to have to do to this thing. One, I'm going to have to figure out the ignition because I don't have keys for it. Number 2, I'm going to have to clean out the interior because there is really, really bad in this thing. The headliner is falling apart. It just covered everything in black, foamy grossness, and we got to get this thing out of here if I'm even going to sit on the inside of it. We got a few things wiring-wise. Once we pick the ignition, we got to figure out if the stash is going to even light up. I'm kind of not exactly holding out hope for it because this thing, like I said, did sit in the field for a long, long time, so I'm sure a few wires have gotten chewed by rats and rodents and things like that. I'm going to try to beat the trunk back into submission so the trunk will actually close. As you guys saw in a few other videos, the quarter panel of this thing is caved in from where a tree hit it. I'm hoping I can get a jack up under there and kind of push it back out sort of straight. It doesn't have to be exactly beautiful. I just want the trunk to be actually able to close. So if I do drive this thing around, the trunk isn't flailing around or at least isn't held down with a rope. And a few other things here and there, like got this thing up on jack stands. Got a little bit easier to work on. I'm trying to get this thing ready to run in another video. Now, as I'm recording this video, I'm literally about to do the ready to run video. Like I said, the wind noise kind of canceled out a lot of the stuff I was getting into, but we're going to get into it here. I'm going to show you guys everything I did to this car to get it running, starting with the interior because this thing was extremely, extremely bad.
Now, I'm really just doing this for the front end. I don't really care about the back end right now. I've got a bunch of parts, a bunch of the old crap that came in that car, obviously the hubcaps and everything like that. I just want to make it a little bit more wrenchable, where if I can get this thing running, I might be able to go inside and pop it into gear and see if the transmission moves, but that's not going to happen with all that crap on the seat. What is left of this headliner is just everywhere, and it is disgusting. Like, me tapping right there did all this to my hoodie, and this stuff, like right there, it's black. It rubs into your stuff, and it just gets everywhere. It's disgusting. It's blech. So I'm going to actually take a leaf blower, blow this thing out, then bring a shop vac over here and shop vac out the seats to make it at least livable. It's not going to be amazing, but it'll at least be livable, and I probably won't get a disease I didn't start today with. Cross my fingers for that. Alright, now to get a shop vac in there. Not before I get a brush and brush off that. Well, for just a simple, quick leaf blower, these front seats didn't turn out too good, or too bad. They are still pretty dirty. I'm gonna have to get them with a vacuum. These aren't off the car originally. I'm guessing they're off of a Chevelle or a Monte Carlo or something. You can tell right back there what color the original seats were. It's the same color as the outside of this car, this teal, and it was leather or pleather or whatever the hell it was. But these were probably swapped in sometime in the 80s. They look very late 70s, early 80s Chevy to me. Like I said, I don't know exactly what, but I'm guessing like Monte Carlo or Chevelle or Impala or something like that. But for the very first time, I can actually sit down in this thing without running the risk of catching some sort of disease. Now, like I said, this is the first time I'm being able to sit in this thing, and this will be the first time. I've never had the driver's door open. I've never had the seat good enough to sit in, so. Oh my goodness. It's definitely a squeeze with the steering wheel as big as it is, but hey, it's actually comfy. Ooh, these seats are actually pretty darn cushy. Sitting down right here, big old steering wheel in my hand. Nobody's in the passenger seat, just chilling. I mean, this isn't too bad feeling of a car. I mean, steering wheel feels pretty great, even without power steering, because there's nothing on it right now. But, like I said, this is the first time I've been able to sit down in this car, and I like it. It's cushy, these seats are nice, the armrest is right where I want it to be. The, what is that? An ice scraper that's up there? I don't want to touch in there, because I'm afraid there's going to be a mouse or something that's going to jump out and kill me. But it's actually not too bad. I just realized I do like the custom mirror arrangement there. That's pretty nice. This tells you guys how long this thing's been parked. In the back of it, brand new, not opened, 32 megabyte, not gigabyte, 32 megabyte SD card. That dates this thing. This is pretty ancient. I mean, like I said, it's not even open. It's brand new. Use this in my camera. Well, kind of curious. I went up under the passenger seat and I found 2 keys, which does lead me to believe one of these might be the ignition key, because normally in an old car like this you have a door key and an ignition key. And I found 2 separate keys here on what's left of a key ring. So I'm hoping these might be the keys to the thing. That'd be awesome if they are. These are at least the door lock key, because I'm able to spin it here. So I've got one of the keys, so I'm wondering if this other one here isn't the ignition key. That would be awesome if I found the keys for this thing. Dude, look at this sickness. Look, so you see, whoop. So you see right there, ignition's locked. Look what I found under the seat. I found the keys for it, and it operates the doors, if it would focus. Yeah, but see, it's unlocked now, and boop, off, on, and start. Now I can turn it the whole way off the lock and take the key out, and this doesn't spin. So this is actually the key for it. This is awesome. Today's a good day. Well, there we go. It's not beautiful, and I might leaf blow it out probably tomorrow, but I can at least sit on that seat now without having the headliner fall on me, because I scrubbed most of it off, and most of the crap is out of there. And that's where I found the seat, right over there under the passenger side. I saw like a little key ring, and I'm like, oh my god, maybe keys. I pulled it, there was nothing on it, and the keys were in front of it, rusted to the carpet. So I was like, oh my god, these might be it, and sure as hell they were. So that right there is an amazing find.
Now next we're going to move on to that big old dent in the rear end. We're going to hopefully knock that thing out so the trunk can have a little bit of room to open and close.
Now next I'm going to be dealing with this big old dent in the rear. You guys can tell this thing is just completely caved in. It had a really, really big tree fall on it, and this thing needs to come out of here. It doesn't really necessarily need to, but if I want to get this thing ready to run and drive, I want this thing out here so I can actually close the trunk with more than just the hose or the rope that I've been using this whole time. It's actually pushed in a little bit too, so that's keeping the trunk from closing completely. As you guys can tell, it doesn't sit the whole way down. If I do something like this, you guys can see it's overlapping real bad. So this needs to come out if I'm gonna have this thing actually shut and be secure when I'm driving this thing. Let's get into it.
Now after that, now that we found the keys and everything, let's make sure this dash actually does light up and crank this thing over.
I believe is keeping this thing from running is down here at the starter solenoid, which goes to the starter. The power wire right off the battery goes down to it, and there are a few wires that are just completely disconnected or rat chewed. I'm gonna wire these things back up, and I'm hoping and crossing my fingers that that dash will light up and this thing might crank over off of the key. That will be a giant win if that happens. All right, well, first things first, I've got to get some wrenches and stuff to loosen up those electrical connectors. That will be right back. There we go. Got new connections on there now. I have actually hope this thing might show a little bit of signs of life here. My next thought is over here, these really, really ugly and old battery connections might not be doing what they need to do. I've very clearly got a bad ground somewhere. Not getting anything there. This one's definitely hooked up here for some reason. I don't know what that goes to. Alright, now I am going to put back on the negative terminal just to see what happens. Oh, I hear it zapping. Let's look inside and see if we got power now. Look at this, guys, look at this. I've got lights on my dash. Hold on, if I shut it off, does it go? Oh my goodness, shuts off. Alright, let's see here. Moment of truth. Woo! She cranks! Probably shouldn't do that because my tripod is inside the motor right now. But that was cranking right there. That was cranking. Okay, I'm gonna clean up some more of these electrical connections just to make sure I don't start a fire. Then I might put a booster to this thing and see how nicely it cranks over and make sure I don't melt anything as I crank it over. Because that is something that will happen. If you do not have the wires the way they should be, they will catch on fire and melt because cranking a motor takes a lot of power. All right, got it back all the way up in park. All right, I'm not going to crank it much more.
And well, now that we got it cranking, this thing's ready to run. And there's actually a lot better than I thought. Now, this thing obviously does have a gallop whenever we crank it over. It's not, you know, hitting on all cylinders very clearly. It doesn't have a coil on it, so there's no way in hell it's going to make a spark, and the carburetor is completely seized up. But I'm going to leave those for another video, but it does sound healthy enough, at least to make some putt, 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 putt. Even if it doesn't run perfectly well, it might make some noise and blow some smoke out the exhaust, and that's all I'm really hoping for this motor. This is kind of just a test bed because, as you guys know, I got the 350 and 4-speed from that Camaro we parted out. You know, the rear end, all that stuff's going to go into this car. So I'm not really holding out too much hope for this motor. Like I said, it was smoking like a choo-choo train. That's the whole reason it was parked. But I do want to hear it make a little bit of noise. And maybe if I put the rear end and brakes from that Camaro onto this car, maybe take it around the block once or twice just to give it a final ride. Now, after that, I don't really know what I'm going to do with this motor and transmission. Probably going to keep it around at least for something. Like I said, I don't know exactly what. I might turn it into a table. I don't know. I might just leave it in the shop until I find a use for it. I don't know. If you guys have any good uses, let me know down in the comments. But this is Josh from Whiskers and Wrenches. I hope you guys are having a great day. And this video, we got this thing ready to run. And in the next video you guys are going to see from this thing, we are hopefully going to have this thing running.
Hello everybody, this is Josh from Whiskers and Wrenches, and in this video we're going to be breaking down what is left of the hunk of our 1978 Camaro 4-speed to go into the beautiful car behind me that is our 1964 Chevy Chevelle. Now, in the last couple times you guys saw this thing, we sent the last, sorry about that, what I wasn't going to use off to the scrapyard, what was left of the rear of the car, some of the interior panels, things like that. We sent it off along there with the box on our 1984 Toyota Dolphin. We are turning into a flatbed workhorse. But we still do have the front end of this thing to strip. We have to get the steering rack out of here for the power steering to put into that car. We have to get the brake master cylinder, the engine, the transmission cross member, the front disc brakes. I mean, all those parts we do still have to pull off this car to get it ready to send the rest of this thing off to the scrapyard of the things that I do not want or need. Now, there are a fair few things in this car that I am not going to use. Now, number one is these fenders. These fenders can go off to the scrapyard back from where they came. They are bent up, they are tore up, they're cut from where I cut the front end off this car. And they're just completely junk. They never were good in the first place, and they're going to stay bad in the scrapyard. Now, along with that, the frame, I'm not going to use it. Obviously, I do not trust the frame in this car. Now, I know for a fact there were some rust spots on it, but not only that, this thing very clearly got in a fight with something big, whether it be a forklift, skid loader, whatever the hell it was. It probably bent the frame and everything around it, so I'm not going to use that on my Chevelle build. Now, I know what some of you guys are going to say, oh my god, that's a handling package car, you could use the blah, 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 blah. I'm just not going to use it. I'm going to take the disc brake parts off of it, put it on my Chevelle, and that's going to be that. If I'm going to upgrade the Chevelle, I don't want to have to look for 1978 Camaro parts and 1964 Chevelle parts. I just want to be able to look for 1964 Chevelle parts for the most part. So I'm going to take basically what it's going to take to convert that Chevelle to drum brakes in the front off this car, and the rest of it's going to go off to the scrapyard. At least suspension-wise. The rear end is a whole nother story, and we're going to get into that right now. Now, for some reason, I guess my phone didn't want to record, but as I was saying, the Camaro rear end, when I pulled it out, I thought it originally was a 12-bolt leaf spring style car. It is actually a 10-bolt leaf spring style car, but on the bright side, I'm not going to be pushing enough horsepower to really need the strength of a true 12-bolt car. And on another bright side is the Chevelle already is a 10-bolt rear end car, and the Camaro, I had originally thought it was a 12-bolt rear end car, so I was gonna switch over the rear ends and everything like that over to the Chevelle. But the Camaro is a leaf spring car. I'm sure you guys saw that when we were pulling apart the rear end in the video when we did that. And the Chevelle is a coil spring car, so I was gonna have to cut and weld in new suspension mounts. But with the bright side is the Chevelle is a 10-bolt car and the Camaro is a 10-bolt car. That means the parts are interchangeable. I can leave the rear end main housing in the Chevelle, not have to weld any new mounts, and just pull all the good parts off of the rear end that is out of the Camaro, like the center section, the axle shafts, all that stuff, and pop them right into the Chevelle housing without having to do a lot of work. And then I said, we're going to move on to starting to pull apart the brakes now. And I said, wow, look at how much room we've got now that we cut the nose cone off. If you guys ever need to do brakes, cut the nose cone off, and then we pick up right here. Now, disclaimer, don't actually do that so I don't get sued, but actually, genuinely, look at how much room I've got to get right to this brake master cylinder. It is actually amazing. And then here, I'll show you guys. Ugh, my goodness, come on now. Come on. Come on. There we go. But you can see there is still fluid in both reservoirs. Well, there was fluid in that one until I cut the rear brakes and it all went away, but there is actually fluid in there and it does move it. So I'm super, super excited to have this thing working. It is leaking a little bit back there, but we can clean that up, get a gasket kit for it, and just give it a good clean and a little quick spray paint with some black spray paint. That'll clean that up and make that thing actually work in that car super, super easy, I'm hoping. Fairly easily come out of there right like that, and just like that, whoop, it's pissing all over me, pissing brake fluid, but just like that we do have our master cylinder out of there. A little bit gross, but nothing a little wire brush and some bench work can't clean up. Nothing end of the world bad. All right, our next step is we're gonna pull that brake booster out there because I do want not fully manual brakes. I would like a little bit of assist on the pedal. So we're gonna get that out of there, pull the pedal and everything out from under the dash, that whole assembly, pop it out, and then we might go over there to the Chevelle and look at how difficult it's gonna be to mount it. We're not gonna mount it today, but just kind of look at what we're getting ourselves into with it, because that thing does have full manual brakes. All right, well, that was a pain in the butt. It was about an hour and a half worth of work. I had to push this electrical connection the whole way through the firewall. Had to take off a bunch of stuff here. I had to take off the wiper motor and everything to get to these studs, but I've got the last nut off, and I believe this should just... Hey, look at that. Brake booster popped right out. Put this over here in the pile with the quote-unquote good parts. We'll see how that goes. All right, now I'm gonna move on to getting the pedals and everything out of there. I got better access now to the clutch pedal assembly, which is this guy right here. I can pop this pin out, and then I should be able to pull them pedals and everything just straight on back, get them all out of there and see how bent up they are. Because I know the steering column itself is bent in from when it got hit by the forklift, and I know they are a little bit bent, but I'm crossing my fingers they're not too bad. Come on, old girl, give up the bid. You know you want it. There we go. And just like that, we got our brake pedal and clutch pedal assembly. And I'm guessing that's our neutral or clutch safety switch, I'm guessing, I think. I don't know, I just work here. But we got them out of there. Let's move on to something else now. Alrighty, well, we got everything out of there. We got our brake booster, we got our master cylinder, and we got the whole pedal assembly right there. And these aren't tore up too bad. They are bent a little bit, but I can always heat them up and bend them back to right where I need to. And I'm sure I'm gonna have to adjust them anyways when I get them in that car to make the pedal feel just right. But now that we got that all done and everything like that, let's move on to something else. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna move on to now, but let's just go for the power steering box. I got it right here. Pop that thing off, then I can probably jack this thing up and start looking at what I need to take off for the disc brakes up there. Let's do that. Actually, I lied. Now that I'm looking at it, these fenders and the cowl and everything are like barely held on. I basically just got the steering rack. I just popped off whatever this is. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a lock or a e-brake cable or something like that, but I popped that off there. I'm gonna get the steering shaft off of here, and then a few electrical connections here and there, and I believe I can just take this, what's left of the fenders here and the front cowl and everything, and just pop it off the car, and that'd give me a lot more room to work on the transmission, the motor, all that stuff under there. So I'm gonna try to do that. But before I pull it off, I am gonna pull off the body tag here, just so I can hang it on the wall and remember this car by something. Pop those two bolts off there, and I should be able to take this body tag and just bring it on inside. And well, just like that, that's the two bolts. Should just kind of pop on. There we go. There's our body tag. Yeah, I'll keep that so when I restore this car, I can have the original equipment. Oh yeah. But yeah, that's the kind of the last identifying factor of this thing. The rest of it's going to get hauled up to the scrapyard. I might cut the little VIN plate out as another kind of a memento, but yeah, the rest of this thing's junk. I mean, even this cowl setup and everything is bent from how hard it got hit. Like I said, the steering rack is pushed down, the mounts on it got ripped out. This thing just got schmammered hardcore. So I'm going to work on getting, like I said, the rest of this cowl and everything off of here. Flip it, maybe forward or backwards, I don't know, we'll see which one's the easiest. And then I'll be able to get to the power steering box and the steering rack and everything like that a lot easier. So I'm going to work on that. Alrighty, I have found the last two bolts. There are two body mounts right where the fender goes down, and it's all folded up and everything like that. So I'm gonna get them off both sides, then I should be able to just peel this whole thing forward. So let's do that. Alrighty, we're gonna have a heart-to-heart here. This is something serious. If you guys are working on cars, especially hunks of metal like this, be sure to be absolutely safe. Double and triple check things to make sure they're not going to fall on you. I did put a brick behind the frame rail on this thing when I had it jacked up to get under there to this body mount. But as you'll see in a second, the thing drops down as soon as that body bolt comes out, and it falls directly on the side of my head. I was about 3 or 4 inches from having this thing fall right on the back of my head. It did gouge up the side of my head pretty good. I had some blood in my hair, everything like that. But you guys will see in a second here, this thing fell on me as soon as that bolt came out. This is a reminder to be absolutely safe. Like I said, I did have blocks and everything like that under there, trying to be safe, but the thing was flexing so bad that it actually moved out, like, away from the blocks, and it fell right on my head. So this, again, is just a warning. Don't be like me. Be safe. This could have been really, really bad if my head was over a couple more inches. So be safe. See, that's why you don't do that. Landed right there on the side of my face. Alright, now it's time to do the same thing on this side, but a little bit safer this time because I don't want to take off this side of my head. So let's do that all over again. Yeah!
Yeah. Please let go. Just let go. You are so unbelievably close to letting go. Oh yes. That's it. Just let go. That gear shift is no longer hard. Whew. There she is. Beautiful ceramic transmission. Woo-wee. That was a workout. May have that beer belly, but I got that dad bod strength, bud. Goddamn do I. And well, ladies and gentlemen, it wasn't all for naught. We got what was left of the body off of the frame, and there is so much more room for activities now. I'm actually going to be able to work on this thing the way I want. I'll be able to get to the disc brakes, the upper arms, the upper A arms, lower A arms. I mean, the transmission, the motor, everything is going to be so much easier with that body for pulling parts off this thing. So I'm going to work on the steering box now, get that pulled off of there, and then I might jack it up a little bit and start working on the disc brake parts, getting them off and prepping them to go onto that car. Well, hey, that's all right. That's a... Wow, that bolt got rusty. Look at that. There's only like half of it left. Holy crap. There's like nothing left of it. Look at that. Look at that. My goodness. I can see why one of them broke off. I'm surprised all of them didn't break off. Look at that. Look at that. Power steering box. Nice and beautiful with that amazing bolt in there. I'm sure we're going to have a fun time getting that out of there. Let's put this in the... All right, now that we got basically the frame basically tore down to where I want it, minus the motor and transmission, obviously. Next thing we're going to do on there is the disc brakes. But before we do that, I do want to pop open the diff cover of this thing and just look and see what's going on with the clutches in this thing, because when we were pulling this thing out of the junkyard, one of the rear wheels was spinning, but the other one wasn't, and with a limited slip, you don't want that happening. So I'm guessing these clutches are either completely burnt out or they're seized up from sitting for so long. And I'm just kind of curious. We're going to pop that diff cover open. We're going to pop that diff cover open and see what's in there. Oh, there is still grease in it. I did not expect there to be grease in it. Oops. Alrighty, well, there was oil in it. I did not expect there to be. And it actually is in pretty good shape. It doesn't look too dark. But as you guys can see in there, there's the clutches. We got the clutches, we got the spring, and everything in there doesn't look too bad. And it's actually pretty darn beefy. No rust, no odd corrosion, no big wear marks. So that's a super big win for this. I'll be able to pull that center section out, pop it into that car without too much fuss. And if I need to, I can switch out these little spider gears right here from that differential to this differential to make sure that my spline count works. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you have axle shafts that come in from here, and they slide right into these little gears right here, and they have splines in there. That's how they grip each other. You know, the higher the spline count, normally the stronger it is. On something like that, it's probably a pretty darn small spline count, so I'm going to try my best to keep these axle shafts in this thing and move it over to there. But if the difference is enough, because I know these things do have a width difference, if they're enough where it's not going to work, I can switch these little spider gears over from that differential to this one and then use the axle shafts that are in there to make all this work pretty darn easily. But that's a super big win. Like I said, this is in actually super good shape. I expected this to be a lot worse.
Alrighty, well, before I keep making more of a mess, I'm going to start shuttling all these parts that I took off of there and put them into the trunk of this car. I've got this thing mostly cleaned out on the trunk, so I can fit all these parts in there. It'll keep them out of the rain, the snow, the sun, I mean, all that stuff. It'll keep them out of there and at least keep them where they need to be. I don't want to put them inside because they are oily, and I did just sort of clean out the interior of this thing. You'll see it a little bit more in the video. I do want to get this thing running. I am sort of through it. I'm missing a few parts. I have them ordered. I'm just waiting for them to come in and get this thing running. I did get it cranking off the key, as you guys saw in the last episode, and I have it sort of ready to run, but I'm not getting spark across the distributor. I need a new condenser for it, so I'm waiting on one of those to come in, and then we should be able to make this thing make noise. But in the meantime, I did sort of clean out the interior where it's good enough to sit in without, getting some sort of disease, and I don't want to put oil and everything back in there, so we're going to put everything that I pulled off this car into the trunk to keep it out of the elements.
And well, just like that, we got all the parts loaded back up here. We got the power steering rack, we got the master cylinder, we got the brake booster, the brake pedals, and the clutch pedal and everything like that. We got that whole front end pulled off of there. I was gonna pop, everything up on here and start working on the disc brakes, but I do not feel like it. I am just completely worn out. That was heavy. Having the thing fall on me didn't feel too good. We got the rear end pulled apart, made sure it was in fact a limited slip. And it did look good in there, no, weird wear marks, anything like that. And I mean, we did pretty darn good for just a day's worth of work. Now I am going to do a few things off camera, like stack up all my scrap right there. I'm sure you guys probably don't care about watching me stack up scrap and put away tools and everything like that, but I'm just gonna keep it right in one area. That way, whenever I'm done and I pull the motor and transmission off of this frame, disc brakes and everything like that, I can pull this frame and that front end right into the bed of my pickup and load it all off to the scrap yard. And then we should be done throwing away parts on this car for the time being. There are a few things here and there. I'm going to get a new, I got new valve covers in the back of there. I got some Chrome Moroso 350 small block valve covers in there. I'm going to get a new carburetor, things like that. But for the most part, everything that is left after we're done pulling everything off to the scrapyard is what we're going to be using over here on our Chevelle. And I promise you guys, before we pull the motor and transmission out of this thing, we will have it running, or at least give it the best possible shot to run. I don't know if this thing is blown up. Like I said, they parked it back in the 90s because it was smoking like a choo-choo train. So never know, it could have absolutely zero compression because the valves are shot or the piston rings are shot or anything like that. But I'm gonna give it my best shot for you guys. Hello everyone, this is Josh from Whiskers and Wrenches, and in this video we are going to be getting our 1964 Chevy Chevelle Malibu running for the first time in 34 years. The last time this thing was registered and insured and put on the motorway was 1991. It's currently 2025, so that is 34 years this thing has been sitting and waiting to live another day. Now, when I first bought this thing, it was not even locked up. It still wanted to spin over. It has 52,000 original miles. I am the third registered owner, clean and clear title. There is virtually no rust on this thing, minus a few wheel well things and a few little pinholes in the floorboards. This thing was put up on blocks in 1991 behind a barn and forgotten about because apparently the motor smokes like a choo-choo train. So I'm not holding out too much hope for this motor, but I do hope I can at least make it make some noise for you guys. Now, the last time you guys saw this thing was in the video I just released, showing how I got this thing ready to run in this video, or at least prepped it where it won't put up too much of a fight, I'm hoping. We cleaned out the interior of this thing because it was absolutely filthy. The headliner was just everywhere. There was a bunch of parts, a bunch of crap on the inside of this thing. We found the keys underneath the passenger seat, which was super awesome, and fixed some wiring on the engine bay, so it actually does crank and the dash and everything lights up straight from the key on the dash, which is super, super nice. Now, first things first, I do know this thing is missing a coil. I don't know if it was taken off for another project or what happened, but it does not currently have a coil. I have a coil that I robbed off of one of my other projects. Now, we're going to have to do a little bit of wiring because the coil hookup points are chewed by rats. So we'll have to do some little wiring there. But other than that, put the coil on there, free up the carburetor because it is kind of sticky, and we should be able to make this thing at least try to make some noise, or at least check for spark. Now, like I said, straight off the bat, we have a few wires here that are leading to where our coil should be. As you guys can tell, there is nothing on the end of there. We're going to have to fix up these wires, then pop a little wire right into there and check for spark. And I'm crossing my fingers that we put a coil to this thing and it makes spark. We can get that carburetor unseized, and this thing should, in the very least, try to make some noise. I'm not hoping for it to run perfectly, but I am hoping to at least make a little bit of noise out of this whole thing. And maybe if we can get this thing running all right, I'll take out that drive shaft because the rear end still is locked up from the brakes, and see if that transmission actually moves at all. That would be super, super cool. Well, here is the coil I have robbed off another one of my projects. It's not amazing, but I have heard the thing I run but I have heard the thing I robbed this thing off of make some noise and cough a little bit, so I know this is at least a semi-functional coil. It'll at least tell us if this motor is any good or we are getting spark. Now, first things first, I'm going to try to dig out that crap and everything that's in the distributor cap, pop this thing on there, run these little clamp wires up to here. I wasn't able to find any nuts for this thing. The car I got it off of just had the push-on style. This thing needs nuts. I couldn't find any to push on things to wire into this thing or the nuts to put on here, so I'm just going to have to use these little electrical clamps. But like I said, this will at least tell us if this motor has any life left in it at all. And I do know for a fact we are going to have to put some oil in this thing because this thing is basically empty, which does track with the story that it was smoking like a damn choo-choo train. I'm guessing the piston rings or the head on this thing is completely shot and it's just blowing all the oil right back out the exhaust. So, now that I'm looking at this wire is not factory. What I believe this is an aftermarket tack hookup. So what I'm going to do is just run the positive straight to the battery post and then the negative to the negative hookup and then pop this little guy in there, distributor cap, once I clean it up. And that should give us spark, I hope. That rat's nest cleaned out of there. Pop this guy down onto the coil like such. There we go. We'll just kind of set this guy up on top of the motor where it hopefully won't fall away. Maybe I should zip tie that up there a little bit better. But this should be enough for us to try to see if this thing has any spark. Now I'm going to put the battery post back on here, run the battery charger over here, and we're going to switch over to that, making that carburetor move so I can actually spray some carb cleaner or something flammable down there and see if this thing will even putter or pop or do anything at all. Again, I kind of have my doubts, but I'm holding out a little bit of hope here. Well, here's the moment of truth. Let's see what happens. If you ever see a spark plug that's that dark, you know the thing's been running super rich or burning a lot of oil. So that does track with the smoking like a choo-choo train claim. Now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna hook this thing back up to the spark plug wire that I pulled out. I'm gonna put it to the exhaust manifold or something like that where it grounds out, because that's how your spark plug works. It gets power through here, then it grounds out through your threads of the motor and it makes a spark. So what you need to do is you need to get your motor cranking over while holding this to a piece of metal. And if you can see it spark, you know you have spark. If you're getting nothing, you know you don't have spark. Ooh. Well, alrighty, the fact that you didn't see any spark means it's clearly not getting any spark, so we're gonna have to troubleshoot that. My thought is where I connected that coil to, put the wire on, where the wire is missing in the middle, that's called your distributor. It gets the power from that middle bit, and there's a little thing in there that spins, and it sends power to each of, your spark plugs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, stuff like that. Well, it's not in that order, but, just for example, you have six spark plugs, it sends power through all of them in a certain order, and that's how your motor runs. If there's any corrosion or like rust or something on those metal bits that they touch, there's not going to get a good, spark through there, and they're not going to get any power. I'm going to pop that cap off, file down the points a little bit, clean them up to make sure they're actually not rust and there's actually metal there. Clean them all back up, put them back in, and then that should give us spark and this thing should catch off. That's my thought. All right, I'm going to take off this guy right down here. Like I said, it's got all your spark plugs. I'm guessing there's a little bit of corrosion or something in there. So that's our next step. I need a big old flathead is what I need. No, that actually looks pretty clean in there. That's worrying. I was hoping that would be really ugly and I'd have... Yeah, that looks super clean in there, actually. My goodness. Yeah, see if you guys look in here.
all that metal looks good. I figured it'd be a lot rustier, and that'd be the reason why we're not getting spark. Let me pull this guy over to the side. Just set him up over there. And he can stay out right there. Another good way to test is this little guy right here. It's called your points. Whenever they separate, you should get a spark. And see, there's nothing happening down there. So my thought is there's a little bit of corrosion on there. I'm gonna file that off and I bet we'll have spark again. Okay, well, I've got good news and I've got bad news. Good news is I found some emery cloth, which is just sandpaper on cloth so you can bend it around, do all that fun stuff. It's really nice to work with. My dad had some of it laying around. But the bad news is I went and talked to him and we kind of talked for a minute. He has worked on a lot of these old things with points. You know, he's got old construction equipment, you know, lawnmowers, stuff like that, which still do use carburetors and points and everything like that a lot of the times. And this little tube right down here that I'm touching, it's called a condenser. It's kind of like what you call a capacitor. It stores a bunch of energy and makes just a cleaner break between these two instead of, you know, sporadic high voltage. It kind of voltages it down and makes it to a smoother lower voltage, so it's more usable. He says these things normally is what dies when you leave them sit for a long time. And if you're not getting spark through there, it's probably what it is. And sadly, it's Sunday right now, so I'm not going to be able to get these from a parts store right now. But I'm going to sand this down and just cross my fingers and hope. If this doesn't work, I'm going to pick up a condenser tomorrow after work, and we'll pick up where we left off. So right in there, where those two little pieces... Oh, come on, focus now. You can do it. Right up there where those two little circles meet, those are supposed to be about a business card width apart. That right there, this spins, those open up, and that's what sends power to all of your spark plugs and everything. If those aren't gapped correctly, you're either not going to get a spark at all, or your spark's going to be super weak and your engine's not going to run right. So I'm going to gap those real quick. You loosen that screw, and you tighten it up with the business card in between there until you can move it in and out without a lot of fuss. Well, and as you guys could tell, there was no spark coming across those two little things. So my thought is this condenser right here is bad, making the spark either be not enough voltage or just something where it's not coming through here. I'm going to need a new one of those, which is something I cannot get today, as like I said, it is Sunday. So we'll pick this back up tomorrow after work, I believe. I do have the scrap of the Toyota pickup. I've got to go drop that off after work, so it might be Tuesday, but we will pick this thing back up in just a couple days whenever I can get one of those parts.
Over 1 month later.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, it's a couple weeks later, and I've thought about it and did some rewiring, and if you look really closely in there, if I can get these things to come apart, it's kind of hard to do with only one hand. Hold on. See that little sparks in there? That means that this thing is actually getting spark across where it needs to be. So the next step is putting that spark plug back in here, grounding it out and cranking it over and see if it actually does get spark. All right, now I've got this test light hooked up right here to the negative side. And as you can see, when I touch the positive side, oh, come on now, it lights up whenever I get through the corrosion and everything on it like that. So I'm gonna stick this here in this spark plug lid, and then we're gonna go over there, crank it over, and you guys are gonna watch and tell me if this thing lights up. Because if it does, that means we got spark and we can dump some gas down this carb and see if it actually will run, which is super, super exciting. Okay, so for some reason we're still not getting spark, even though we're getting amazing spark across the points right here. Whenever I pop them apart, you can hear it clicking. It's getting spark from there, but it's not getting it to all the spark plugs themselves. So we got to figure out why that is. My thought is maybe the underside of this cap's, well, just run away, I guess. All right, as I was saying, my thought is the points in here are all dinged up, or the wire and the connection in there coming from this cap and getting everything out and about is junk. So I'm gonna pull all these out, polish them, pop them back in, do the same thing with the cap itself, and then hopefully we'll have spark. All right, clean enough. At least start off the video. I'll do that a bit. That's done again. I'm done again. Now. Nothing. Just out of curiosity, maybe my test light's too slow. This thing is getting spark, and if I throw a little bit of gas into there, it'll kick right over. Let's just see. It's a lot of gas. Oh my God, that's hitting. Oh, that's hitting, bud. That's hitting. That, oh my God, it is getting spark. Oh my God, that's hitting. Dude, that's hitting. Okay, let's put all these spark plugs back in it. Oh my God, that was hitting. That was hitting. Oh my God. Oh my God, my test light sucks. My test light is way too slow to capture it. That is getting spark. Holy crap. More gasoline. More gasoline. That was running. That was running. That was coughing. That was making noise. First start in 34 years. Come on, come on, come on, you want it, you want it. Oh my goodness, it's so close. Come on. Oh, come on. It wants it real bad. Come on. Come on, you want it. Oh my God. Come on, come on, you want it. Hello everyone, this is Josh from Riskers Wrenches, and I'm going to record a quick intro here because I'm not going to be recording a video this week. I'm in the process of building a fence for my dogs. You can see 3 of them right here, and I've got my husky inside because he isn't the biggest escape artist I have, and I don't have this thing fully assembled yet. I've just got this thing kind of set into place just to hold it up enough where these guys can come outside and hang out with me while I'm fixing them up. But in the meantime, while I'm doing that, I don't really have time to record a video, so I'm going to give you guys some footage that I never really found a spot for before now. This will be kind of just a filler week where I give you guys something and I don't really have time to record. I apologize about that. Next week, I'm going to aim for going back to our normally recording, one video a week and posting it out every Friday for you guys. But this is what me and my buddy found inside of our 1964 Chevelle that has been sitting for some odd years. We cleaned out the interior and the trunk of that thing, and these are some of the funny things that we found inside of that thing. So I hope you guys enjoy. Hope to see you guys next week, and hope that I can build a fence here that my dogs can't get out of. Peace out. I'll see you guys.
Dude, there's a cassette.
Oh yeah, on the back. Yeah, on the back deck. I didn't. Ooh, dude, we could listen to it. I have a cassette player.
I guarantee
It's Ozzy. Oh,
damn.
I was gonna say it's Ozzy Osbourne too.
Oh, dude.
Oh, dude.
Brand
Show
new.
the camera. Show the camera. Look at that in the box. Look at that.
Hasn't even been opened, dude. Ain't that cool? It literally is brand new. Look at it.
What? More VHS tapes. I feel like there's going to be a lot of adult video.
Wait, do you have VHS pulls?
I don't. I have cassette players.
Dude.
Yeah, multiple brushes.
Dude, I'm keeping this little brush.
Is this thing so good? Oh yeah,
One of
tape
those
measure.
horsehair brushes. You know how great these things are?
Where's the expiration date?
Horseman's Directory.
2000 is when this expired.
Oh my god. Definitely can't show that.
Oh, it's checked. How much for it?
Uh,
How much do we have a check?
$338.46. Oh, damn it.
Is it void?
Void after 90 days.
Oh. Dude.
And it was wrote 6/10/2003. Oh, dude, we got antique Altoids.
Oh yeah.
Experiment.
They still good?
Dude, I can guarantee they totally are. Oh, something's been in there eating on them.
Show the camera. Look at that. That's real nice.
These old Altoids. Something been eating on them. How much you gonna give me if I taste one?
I ain't gonna be the part of that when you fucking call me in a week. I'm
an
dying.
It's ants that were eating them. There's an ant.
Oh.
You think they all got diabetes?
Oh, dude.
Dude, what do you buy for $39.95?
Dude.
Comparable value.
Comparable value for what?
Italian stone design, genuine leather.
It's still good.
Oh, these are for those gloves.
More gloves. More gloves.
Oh, they are not just shades. Oh, got us some new glasses up in here. Damn, I look like grandma. Def Leppard, what?
Either Def Leppard or one of the old 80s. Alrighty, so you know how I said one of those VHSs has to be an adult film, right? Start reading what you found here.
Would you pay $5 for a new medical breakthrough that can give you the power to make love as often as you want, for as long as you want, anytime you want, up to age 85, even if you have not enjoyed sex for over 2 years?
I knew one of those things would be an adult film, dude.
Plus, receive absolutely free this new sex action video, a $39.95 value, where 7 couples, what?
7 couples
Demonstrate 33 lovemaking techniques and positions, both conventional and oral demonstrations. Oh, that will turn you on, turn you up, and turn you into an absolute sexual dynamo.
Dude. Turn you on, turn you up, and turn you to an absolute sexual dynamo. That's awesome.
I can't.
Dude, what is this wonder formula that boosts levels of your sex hormones by as much as 500% or even higher?
Even higher?
Yours the key.
Please.
I'm bringing that inside. I'm going to read the pamphlet.
Talking about sex, and it's like, turn please.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, let's bring that inside. Raging. What?
Continue reading. Read that back one more time.
Hold on. The French straddle, guaranteed to produce the most intense orgasms in the female body.
Ooh.
Oh, which one did you want me to go back to?
Just start over. Just read.
Okay. How to flex your hip muscles and when to flex them for maximum penetration. It was like going from having occasional once-a-month puppy sex to night after night of hours-long orgies with a huge wild stallion. In this hour-long goldmine video.
It's an hour long. Oh, I've got to find a VHS player, dude. I bet one of them in that trunk has to be it, dude.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like Lion King.
It's titled Great Sex 7 days a week. So, I guess I know if y'all looking, you know what to look up.
Yeah, I'll digitize it and put it on YouTube.
Oh,
Is there even more?
the most convincing proof of all.
Is it a guy's dick pic?
The most convincing proof of all, look at my penis. It's erect. Is it
By average middle age Wapiti elk. What is 5 to 9 minutes? Damn,
Wow.
They can do 4 rounds in 5 to 9 minutes.
Jesus. He's blowing and going.
God damn. Patients go from having sex once a month to as much as 5 times a day.
Wow. Dude, I bet the nursing home goes crazy. She go in there, Mom, Dad, I'm here to visit you. And you're, oh. There's so much more.
From limp, drooling impotence to total youthful fertility in as little as 48 hours.
Wow.
What? How these one-time sexual cripples transform themselves.
Sexual cripple. That is an insane term.
Transform themselves into sexual supermen with such renewed vigor, intensity, and duration. Their wives, for the first time in years, thrilled.
Even Caramel wants to read it.
Thrilled to nightly mega climaxes.
Mega
As many as 10, 15, even 20 orgasms in
Holy-
a single week.
Holy crap.
Oh my god.
I think we need to watch this VHS.
How even the most hopeless cases of impotence, men who went from doctor to doctor and were repeatedly told, there's simply no cure for your problem. And whose lymph organs reminded them daily
They're
were less than a man.
They're just beating the piss out of poor man with erectile dysfunction.
Now, for the first time in years, enjoy rock hard erections that proudly get up, stay up, firm and strong, and don't quit for hours at a time. Just so you know, if your erection lasts for 4 more hours, call your doctor.
Yeah, that's how you get a fucking heart attack.
Not their advice, though. They said go...
Yeah, go
forever.
15 times, yeah.
Which side? Okay, this side. Patients report full-blown erections on command every time you want.
I just picture they're going out for like buying groceries or something, and instead of asking for rewards, the cashier just points at him and goes, "Erection!" Their dick just rips out of their pants.
That stay bone stiff for as long as you want, so you can fire away. It says fire away up to 3 times an hour without turning limp. Much as 50%, and at age 65, as much as 70%.
Holy crap!
And these sexual drive and performance start to drain away. This is so broken English, by the way.
Maybe the guy who's writing it is Indian.
Maybe
You're
it is.
going. My dick is so hard right
We
now.
need to show them.
Yeah, let's show them the mastermind behind this.
Oh no.
Where's he at?
The mastermind.
The master. He does look like, he sort of looks like an Indian Walter White.
A little bit.
He does. I mean,
Fire up the cells, organs, and glands that are now asleep at the switch. in your body's sexual or intersexual power plant.
what you don't care about? Do you want to read about sexual desires, Caramel? Is that what gets you off or something?
Oh wait, I didn't flip the other page.
Caramel.
Oh my God, there's more people.
There's more people?
These are people who have tried it.
Oh my God.
Work like a sexual fountain of youth. Lost powers and drive fully restored in just 24 to 48 hours.
Wow.
Unable to have sex for over 16 years. My thing, once my pride and joy became just a water spout. Nothing more than my doctor told me about Lebanon's super stimulating powers. And what a change! Now at age 77, well, that part's gone. Again, thrill my live-in girlfriend with 3 or 4 earth-trembling performances in a single night.
Dude, do you think if this company's still in business, you think I can get them to sponsor a video?
Dude,
I'll be fixing up the other car, and I'll fix up the Chevelle, right? And I'll take these pills, and you fix up start stripping the Camaro, and we'll see who does it quicker.
okay, I think they got these swapped around. That guy looks 54, and this guy looks 77. This guy said he's 54, and his guy said he's 77.
Show the camera. Show these beautiful people.
These people tried it.
Dude, these guys were going crazy. You know they pulled their denture out for that no venture.
Look at the
that looks like Hillary Clinton. That really does look like Hillary Clinton.
That's a man.
That's a man?
Wait,
oh,
here?
yeah.
Her?
That looks
Yeah.
like older Hillary Clinton.
Well, yeah, look at the neck on this dude.
Oh my god, dude! I wonder if he sucks. I bet he sucks her down for real.
Slurpy. Huh? Recovered such young again potency. It was like we were on our honeymoon once again. Never have I felt such deep, penetrating love. Bless that close friend and bless the doctors who developed a sexual fountain of youth.
Dude, Luna's giving me the biggest side eye right now.
Excuse me?
She's not happy with this.
Excuse me?
What?
Minister. This is from a minister.
The minister.
The minister was taking sex pills.
This sex pills has God's blessing. This is God's gift to the earth.
Minister nicknames his private member Lazarus because he has risen from the dead.
That is amazing. Oh my God.
Reverend Thomas K. of Dallas, Texas writes, after 31 years of marriage, we became a sexually starved couple. Wait a minute. I just realized this isn't a dick pill. This is just a video.
It is. Yeah, it's just
No,
VHS.
the video comes with the dick pill. That's
yeah, it's like instruction manuals.
yeah, you got the instruction video. Spiritually broken by my lack of staying power. Then a deacon of a neighboring church. What is up with these ministers?
Dude, ministers are freaky for real, apparently.
We know it wasn't their wives they were getting.
Yeah, it was the church boy, the choir boy.
We now thrust ourselves into new heights of night-long voyages to the heavens.
Oh my Lord.
As far as I'm concerned, the doctor who discovered it deserves the Nobel Prize. Try it entirely at our expense without risking a single penny and receive a $39.95 free gift just for trying.
What's the $35.95 free gift?
Oh, the sex tape.
Oh, okay. Yeah. They valued that sex tape at $40 for a VHS.
When was this even done?
I'd say
here's the pamphlet.
I'd say 99 would be my guess.
Oh, here's what the pill looked like.
Oh yeah. I'm telling you, dude. I'm gonna get my printer going and I'm gonna digitize all this stuff. Have it archived with all this beautiful dick pills.
Oh, it's from the National Bioperformance Institute in Illinois.
Oh. We should, whenever we get the car running, you know what we should do?
Oh, Harvard also helped with it.
Dude, we should get whenever we get the Chevelle running, we should get that stuff in a box and go to that institute. Be like, do you remember doing this? We're running a story for old dick pills.
This
of dog.
Smells like dick pills. I'm not even joking. You know what it actually smells like?
What?
Here, smell it. Tell me it doesn't smell like a condom.
That does smell like an old latex condom. That really does.
Yeah. What the hell?
What?
This is just an ad they sent to him in the mail.
Oh.
And it probably came with a sex video.
Oh my goodness.
If you respond within the next 30 days, you are entitled to receive a copy of the full report entitled "Will Libidon Way to Super Fertility?"
Oh no.
And now a little extra insurance.
Oh.
Even if you don't need it every time when you make love. The Libidon capsule has been medically formulated exclusively to keep you sharp, raring to go, and ready to satisfy. Every time you have sex using all the super stimulating techniques and positions described in the Libidon way to super virility, the sexual Bible to super potency,
Oh, my
super
Lord.
satisfaction on command.
More.
And remember this, Libidon's not a dangerous aphrodisiac or pet drug. Okay? Okay? It is safe. Completely natural, doctor recommended formula that goes to work in minutes to help get you up and keep you up for as long and as often as you want.
Hello everyone, this is Josh from Riscos Wrenches, and in this video we're going to be doing one final video with our 1964 Chevy Chevelle. I believe it's going to be the last final video because there's a guy coming to look at it in a couple hours to buy it. Now, it's not this car's fault I'm getting rid of it, but I've never really had my heart in this car. This car is awesome. It's a four-door. I love old school four doors. It's super clean. The frame's great. I've got a bunch of parts for it. You know, it's going to be a super, super cool old hot rod, but I've always had a soft spot for a very certain car that I grew up with, and my brother had one. I had a buddy's dad who had one, and then I had one, and I never really got to live out the fantasy of having my own because I had to move before then, and we had to sell it because it wasn't in running condition. So I'm not going to tell you guys what that car is because you will see it in an upcoming video whenever I buy it. But hopefully the guy who's coming by today is going to pick this thing up so I can get it out of my driveway, have some money to go pick up the car of my dreams. But there are a few things we still need to do to this thing to get it ready to go. First, I've got to clean my tools and any parts that aren't going with it. I originally had this thing listed as with basically all the parts I've ever had for it, but the car I'm buying needs a few of those parts, so I lowered the price, removed those parts from the listing, and I have to pull them out of here so I can save them from the car we're going to be building up. And hopefully kill some of these wasps. There was a wasp nest in here, and I thought I killed all of them, but there's a couple flying around still. But without me yapping anymore, let's get into it here. We're going to start with the engine bay, clean my tools and stuff out of the engine bay, then we'll move to the interior, then we'll move to the trunk, and then maybe throw some tires on it. Now, there isn't much up here I need to bring out. Oh, there's a wasp right there that I'm about to kill. Yeah, I spent like 20 minutes yesterday spraying. Oh, great. Spraying wasps and everything in this thing. Haha, die. Die. It's been a long time spraying wasps in this thing yesterday because there was a nest in this headlight bucket here, but I'm pretty sure I got all of them. That was the last straggler, I hope. But I've got like a wire brush in here, bungee cord. The coil can stay with it. That coil's junk anyways. Don't think anything else is in here that I really need. Another thing I really have to do is I have to clean the underside of this thing because I have so many tools and crap just laying underneath this car that I knew I was going to use, like my crawler, my jack stands, things like that. So let's move on to the interior now and pull some stuff out of there. Actually, I lied. We're going to pull some stuff out of the underside here. Ever since the last time you guys saw this thing, I have cracked the old drums off of here that were completely locked up and completely rusted to the hub. I actually had to, you know, beat the ever-living crap out of them to get them out. I tried to just crack it like me and my buddy did, picking up an old truck of his that had a locked-up drum. We cracked the drum. It spun freely. These things were, like, welded to the drum. So I actually had to completely and utterly destroy the drums to get them off. So this thing will somewhat steer. The rear end is still locked up, but at least the front tires will both steer so we can load it onto a trailer a little bit easier. So let me put this in the scrap pile, wherever that is. There's another really loud truck. I've got my 5-gallon boat jug that I was trying to start this thing off of. Oh, my goodness. Got tires. I've got a bunch of old random crap under here. This old pan, the ancient pan that was the carburetor cover for the old Camaro. Might keep that just for a little keepsake. It's still good, right? I can. Crap got on me. This is going in the scrap pile now. I don't want it anymore. My implement of hammerage that I use to snap the drums off is my giant splitting axe, and it worked good. It was great. I had a lot of fun. Should have recorded it. And I've got to kind of, sort of, hopefully, put air in these tires. Now, they're still on the bead, so I have hope they might actually hold a little bit of air and be good enough to roll this thing up onto a trailer, but I've looked everywhere, and there's not even a date code on these things. So these things are at least, like, pre-90s. I think in, like, it was like 95 or 2000 that they made date codes mandatory on tires. So these things are long before then, which adds up to the fact that it was parked in 91. So these things, in the very best case scenario, like it had brand new tires on it when it was parked in 81. They're 45 years old. In the realistic case scenario, they're probably 3, 4, 5 years old tires. You know, people run tires for plenty of years. I think the recommended is after like 5 or 7 years you replace them. So these things could be like 50 years old, and that wouldn't surprise me at all. So we're going to try to air these things up and then maybe throw them on the front, just so, like I said, I can get it off the jack stands and everything like that, and it can roll up onto a trailer. All right. Moment of truth, these tires are actually going to air up at all. I sort of have my doubts. Like I said, they're still on the bead, but they're significantly older than I am, so let's see what happens. Oh my lord. Those are airing up. Oh, they're leaking horribly. I can see all the air leaking almost immediately back out of them. All right, I'm curious now. We had that other one air up. Let's see if this back one will air up. Ugh. This one, I have even more doubts about because it's significantly worse. Oh my goodness. No. The valve stem's leaking real bad on this one. Oh, the valve stem's broken. So this one would have aired up if the valve stem wasn't broken. This one looks promising. Ugh. I think it might even still have some air in it. Alright, time to do the same thing to the other side. Clean up junk. See what tires hold air. Yeah, drum. Beautiful. Can stay original right over there. Where's the valve stems? Right inside all the rocks and everything. That's a good sign. It's gonna take air. What is with these old tires, man? It's holding air beautifully. It's going right up. It doesn't matter that half the bead's packed in dirt and rocks and everything. It's gonna take air. Let's see what the see if this other one over here on the back, that's super bald. See if this one holds any air. We're 2 out of 3 right now. We could be 3 out of 4 here. Let's see. All right, well, now that we know we have at least 4 tires that'll at least get it loaded onto a trailer, let's clean out the interior. Oh yeah. Thankfully, there's not a lot to clean out in here. Most of the stuff can just stay with it. It can go bye-byes. Hey, I got a few tools in here I want to make sure I grab, and that's it. I have retrieved what I wanted. A light, the old Pepsi can, and a socket. That was worth it. Now it's time for the trunk. I will say that there's 3 different master cylinders in here. There's the one from that Dodge Dakota that I saved, the one from the Camaro, and the one from the Silverado. I'm going to save the one from the Silverado because I'll give you guys a little bit of a hint here on what our next project is. It's a GM product with this style of a master cylinder on it. Pretty close. It's within 10 years of the Silverado, I'll say that. You guys who know the Silverado year can start guessing here. And it's a 2-door. I'll give you those hints. And most of you will probably call me an idiot for getting rid of my Chevelle and then buying it. But I have a soft spot for them, and I have an idea. Linkage bracket off the Camaro frame. From right here. I need to pop that guy off because I need that. There we go, there's my shifter assembly. That's the last bit I need off of this frame. Now it goes bye-byes. Alright, well, I'm probably going to cut back to the guy just messaged me saying that he's cool being on YouTube, so I'll probably cut back to whenever he shows up and we're loading this thing up and all that stuff, and I'll see you guys then. I've never driven it, but hey, it's steered before.
There'll be one last hurrah.
Yeah, you'll get the last send off. Yippee.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Which way?
This way. All right, that's good.
The drums that are falling apart and rubbing on the wheel. I know I was hearing that whenever I was hearing it, the drums rubbing on the wheel.
You want to turn it this way, Michael?
Yep.
Well, just like that, spot the Chevelle once sat, it's gone now. Like I said, kept that rear end, kept a few parts off of it for the car we will be getting, and you guys will see that. Hello everyone, this is Josh from Riscos Wrenches, and behind me is our 1992 Pontiac Firebird that hasn't ran anywhere from 10 to 20 years. I need like 3 hands right now. And well, just like that, the story of the 1964 Chevy Chevelle comes to an end. Love me or hate me for getting rid of it, that's for you to decide, but I will say I did save that thing from being crushed. I bought that thing on like a Saturday, and they were going to cube it on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. They're literally going to cube it within a week of me saving it. So love me or hate me, we at least saved that thing from getting crunched up and turned into a little pop can or whatever the hell they were going to turn it into. This was Josh from Riscos Wrenches with the whole story of our 1964 Chevelle, saving it from the junkyard to selling it to somebody else who was going to put an LS in it. Whatever to happen to the thing, I don't know. I lost the guy's contact information. If you're still there watching this channel, let me know down in the comments below if you ever got that thing running and driving. I'd love to see the thing back on the road. But for the rest of you, if you guys wouldn't mind, let me know down in the comments below what I can do better. Let me know if you guys want to see that RV get ripped apart, the truck, the Lincoln town car that's back there, the old junky convertible Buick, the Cavalier, all that stuff. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys want to see. I try my best to build this channel off of what you guys recommend. Obviously, they're my cars. I'm going to work on them anyways. But if a lot of you guys want to see something in particular, I can work on getting that video out before all the other ones. And well, while you guys are down there leaving a comment, click that like button if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, leave a comment, like I said earlier, letting me know what I can do better. Subscribe if it wouldn't be too difficult of a hassle, and click that notification bell if you want to be notified whenever I upload next. Like I said earlier, this was Josh from Riscos Wrenches. I hope you guys are having a good day, night, week, whatever it is. Hope you guys are having a great one, and hope to see you guys in the next upload. Peace out and goodbye. I didn't want to be the guy that, you know, filmed random children without their consent. That'd probably put me on a watch list somewhere.
Mr. nicknames his private member Lazarus because he has risen from